Story time, zero fluff. 2 SSRU trucks stage a fake crash. 4 OSA drones slip out of a hidden compartment, and the first one suicides to light up Krouka 4. The second dives into fog to break the TORM-2's lock. The third dies under a Panzer S-1's 57 missile wall. Everything rests on OSA 4 and a pilot named Coville, wounded, cold, and steady. He uses the silo itself as cover, corkscrews down, and taps the 5-inch cryo line. What detonates next collapses the Oreshnik and the defenses tied to it. How does a $2,000 FPV drone get a shot at a $100 million launcher? Only when a diagnostic test cracks the door open. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Kapistan Yar's Oreshnik had one of those scheduled checks on the calendar, the kind that forces crews to open the silo doors and expose systems that usually live behind armored seals. For a short slice of time, the hardening is bypassed. Not off, not careless, just bypassed for maintenance routines that need clear access to the guts of the launcher. The window is measured in minutes, not hours, and the procedure has steps laid out to the second. Doors open, safety interlocks relaxed, data pulled, valves cycled, doors shut. That narrow band is when a cheap drone has a chance against a fortified site. Ukrainian HUR worked the timing with SBU and SSRU, pulling telemetry hints and routine radio traffic that sounded boring to anyone not tracking patterns. The weather added friction. Cold air, low ceiling, and gusts sweeping across the tree line. Russian electronic warfare blanketed the corridor with high-power noise that chews up command links. None of it stopped the planning because the intercepts pointed to an exact diagnostic window, and the crews only needed that one opening to put steel inside the ring. To keep local eyes looking down the wrong road, 2 SSRU trucks scraped each other near a junction and blocked a lane. It looked like a basic fender bender. Hazard lights, men waving traffic around, somebody on a phone complaining to a dispatcher. Under that noise, staging happened. Short-range comms got swamped near the site without setting off a wider alert. No explosions, no gunfire, no reason for a regional net to light up. The accident bought minutes, and minutes are a long time when the doors are open and defenses are watching the wrong signal. The strike package was simple and cheap. 4 OSA FPV drones, stripped for weight, tuned for low-altitude ingress and short exposures. Each had pre-programmed waypoints to skate below tree height, then a manual override for the final vector. No long-range data link, no fancy avionics. Just enough processing to fly the route and a hardened channel for the last 100 meters where human eyes matter more than any sensor. The Krouka 4 electronic warfare suite sat like a spotlight waiting for a trigger. Its logic pushes jamming power along a detected axis the instant it senses a penetrator, turning a wide field into a concentrated beam. The plan counted on that. Drone 1 went first, loud in RF terms, meant to poke the bear and make it roar. The goal wasn't survival. It was to drag Krouka 4's beam onto one vector and hold it there long enough for the others to find room. Drone 1 ate it. That death scream on the spectrum did its job, and the sights TORM-2 and Panzer S-1 snapped awake on the same line of bearing. Everything pointed at the decoy. In that moment, expensive defenses narrowed their focus. The remaining 3 drones slid into the blind arcs that form when power concentrates and geometry gets tight around hard angles and terrain. This is how modern EW actually works in practice. Funnels form. Blind arcs appear. When a system saturates a single corridor, the space beside it goes dim for a beat. With the diagnostic schedule in hand, operators could time their run to those beats, not by guesswork, but by aggregating metadata and mapping routine patterns that told them when crews cracked the doors and for how long. The open door is real, the gap is real, and the defenses are human-driven systems that react in predictable ways. The doors stay open for another minute. The Tor and Panzer are awake, angry, and pointed down the wrong alley. The gauntlet decides which drone lives long enough to touch steel. What beats radar, missiles, and a jamming wall? A fog bank, a corkscrew, and a target the size of a drink coaster. Drone 2 breaks right for the ground fog and vanishes into milk. Tor M2 throws a track on it, then loses angle as the return smears into the surface clutter. Coveville sees the signal wobble, dips the nose, and scrapes the drone along a hedgerow to stay masked. Cold air bites the battery, prop wash fights the gusts, and the drone bleeds speed. Tor's radar regains a shaky lock and pushes a missile into the haze. Coveville yanks left, then cuts throttle to dump heat and signature. The missile hunts steady movement, finds none, and self-destructs in a dirty bloom. Shrapnel knocks a motor off balance. Drone 2 staggers, bucks, and nosedives out. One less on the board, but the radar is now burning cycles on ghosts. Operators on the Panzer S1 make the next move. They paint the approach lane and launch a wall, rows of micromissiles pouring into a defined box. OSA-3 doesn't stand a chance. The first burst rips the frame, the second erases the signal, and fragments rattle the treetops. Screens show debris, heat fades, and the lane looks clean. Russian crews lean back a hair, convinced the kill box holds and anything alive will die if it crosses that line again. They keep eyes where the decoy taught them to look. OSA-4 flies where geometry robs the radars of a clean shot. Coveville drops to ankle height, coasts through cut brush, and approaches the silo on a tangent that uses its concrete lip as a mask. The clutter zone helps. Returns bounce, angles fold, and the radars get partial shapes that don't add up fast enough. He nudges the stick in micro-taps, letting inertia carry the drone instead of steady throttle. Each burst is short, controlled, just enough to hop the drone between visual anchors. Rust streaks, a drain cap, a shadow under a ladder. He avoids straight lines that give tracking software an easy fit. Krouka 4 wakes again, hard, and the control link turns to mush. Commands stutter. Video smears into blocks. Coveville shifts to the hardened guidance mode he saved for this run. The drone pings in brief, timed bursts, then falls silent, coasting on dead reckoning between cues. He uses the camera's simple crosshair and contrast edges, not the bitrate-hungry feed. The frame jitters. He taps, waits a count, taps again, and holds a shaky line toward the dark slot at the base of the module. He isn't going for a warhead. He's hunting a 5-inch cryogenic line inside the Capistan module, the artery that keeps temperatures where they need to stay. Hit that, and the launcher becomes a problem to itself. The warhead can sit untouched. The system breaks from inside. The OSA carries a small shaped charge, a few pounds of explosive with a metal liner that collapses into a narrow jet. That jet bites into metal far thicker than the drone's weight suggests. Pair that punch with a cold line that ruptures, and you get a violent thermal shock that rattles conventional charges and strains seals in ways they were never meant to handle. Coveville latches to the silo wall, spirals down the concrete like a screw, and stays under the radar horizon that the lip creates. The camera pulses on. Gray pipe, a valve handle, frost bloom, then off again. He flattens, quick burst, crosshair steadied on the banded section. Tap. The detonation pops clean. Metal flashes white, vapor erupts, and the cryo shock slams into the bay. Charges sympathetic to stress kick off in sequence. The Oreshnik folds in on itself. Screens on nearby batteries wash out, links drop, and the air defense web tied to that node blinks dark. One drone and one operator just punched daylight through a roof of sensors. That opening doesn't stop at the tree line. It runs far past it. Small cost, precise timing, and clean intelligence tore a hole through a fortress built on billions. 4 $500 OSA drones, guided by a clock and clear patterns, turned a routine test into a strategic outage. That window didn't last long, but it was enough to blind an air defense cluster and force assets to move.